Welcome to the Orlando Lions Den Podcast, your number one Orlando City podcast. For the fans, by the fans. For the fans, by the fans. Keeping you in the know on all things Orlando City since 2018.
Hello, and welcome into another edition of the Orlando Lions Den podcast. Mike here hosting tonight, talking about a win, and I got some good friends here with me. First, I got Alex Ryder down in Naples. How we doing, brother?
Doing good. Got the W, another 3-0 win. Honestly, not a great weekend for me sports-wise. This was the highlight. It was fun to see us do what we needed to do, and excited to talk about with you guys. It was a lot of fun to be on Den After Dark with you and the whole gang, especially with taxi driver Eddie coming in late and having Jake being on the same time zone as us. So
definitely cool to have that. And I had a good sports weekend until the end of it, where my New York Giants decided to do something that is, we're record breakers. We're the first team ever to score 3 touchdowns in a football game, allow no touchdowns, and still lose. So first time that's ever happened in the league. Oh, he's not getting to us. We're not waiting that long. As much as the history books would like that, he's still got another year of college. We need a new quarterback sooner than that. And then Eddie had a little bit of a hiatus from the show, but good to have you back, brother.
Yeah, sorry, fellas. Just been super busy, and even today I was busy. But I was like, you know what? I got to do it. Yeah, I gotta get on. You guys have been carrying this weight. You guys have been, the Luis, the Enrique Romero, and I've been the Luis Muriel, just not contributing for a long time. So, yeah. But I'm glad we got.
No, you should take insult to that. You're not Morial. You're not Morial.
Yeah. I'm not paid like him. I wish I was. But yes, but it's good to be back. yeah, it's good to be back. Good to be back after a win. I got to see my buddy Jake. He's over here from Newcastle, and that was his first win he's seen in person. Besides that Open Cup crazy. Penalty match was his, I guess, Nashville, I think it was.
No, he was here for the Open Cup final.
No, he wasn't. Not for the final. That's Taylor, not Jake.
I thought I could have sworn I took a picture with Jake for the Open Cup final.
No, he was here for I'm pretty sure he wasn't here for that. Well, regular season nonetheless. This is his first win, so it was cool to have some dinner with him beforehand. I took him out to get some Puerto Rican food. We tried some real authentic Puerto Rican food, and he enjoyed it very much. So that was cool. Just give him a little culture, showing that everything has to be boiled. I'm just kidding.
The spices didn't get to him or anything?
Yeah. No, he liked it. Yeah, he liked that the most. He was, I think that's the party like. A little dessert. We did ran the whole gamut, a little appetizer, entree, dessert kind of thing. And that was a good time. And then 3-0 win, and we're back to scoring. We're back to clean sheets. We're back to that goal differential is looking crispy. We're looking good, and we got a big week starting. This is Tuesday. We're recording starting tomorrow when this comes out, or today when it comes out. We got another big match with Charlotte, who's right on our heels on the table.
Yeah, so we'll get to talking about all that here in just a second. But first, let's go ahead and do some housekeeping, talk about our sponsors for the show. I'm going to go ahead and kick it off with the man that just finished talking, Eddie, Comparing Insurance. Obviously, guys, you want to make sure that you get insurance taken care of. Obviously, hurricane season is going on right now. There's still storms popping up here and there. You want to make sure you got home insurance, but he's also got car insurance, life insurance. I believe Alex even said he got Apple Watch insurance from you or something like that. So all kinds of insurance. Eddie's here to always help out. And Eddie, I believe you were doing something with quotes for City fans, if I remember correctly. Wasn't that true?
Yes. Actually, yeah, you're right. I do got to make good on that. My bad. I forgot. I was stashing it out for a couple months, so I will do that and send receipts. Any quote, whether it works out or not, for you, the $25 to the Orlando City Foundation. So I got right now, it's a good $200 I got to put in there or so. So you guys have been great and been able to help some folks, and in some cases help them quite a bit. In some cases you find out, hey, you know what, the grass isn't greener. You're good, but at least you get a little peace of mind, and you get to contribute to a great organization in the Orlando City Foundation.
Yeah, so there you go. Definitely want to make sure that you're being a part of that. QR codes on the screen for ways to go ahead and contact Eddie. You can also reach out to us on the pod or reach out to Eddie the Commish as well on Twitter. He'll be happy to help you out there. Then another friend of the show, Leo, with the Epic Mortgage team, powered by You Mortgage. Rates, as far as I know, are starting to trend downward. And they look like they're going to be going down continuously here for a little bit. So if you're in the market for a new home or for refinancing a home, definitely want to go ahead and get in contact with Leo, 407-844-7696. Again, QR code on the screen as well. If you're one of those people that's watching along and want to go ahead and scan to get all the information for Leo. And then to finish off the home buying sponsors, we got Chad McGibbon of Chad McGibbon Realty. If you're trying to buy a home, he'll help you out. QR code on the screen will bring you to his Twitter account, which again is at Chad McGibbon, longtime City fan, wants to try and help out some others of the City faithful. So there we go with that. And then last but not least, the homies over at Hourglass Brewing. We're going to continue to shout them out for making a beer for us. No Mango, No Party was a great time. And who knows, maybe during the playoffs or something, we'll be able to do something special with them again. So we got to keep our fingers crossed for that. And Alex, I saw you pointing up. Are we good? What's going on? Or is that something else? You're muted. I can't hear what you're saying. Oh, you're pointing to the koozie that we have up there.
The koozie, got the koozie on the wall.
Barely see it on the small in your tiny little window right now. But yeah, I think I still have
tiny little window. A lot of crap on the wall.
Yeah, there we go. I think I still have some koozies left too. So if anybody didn't get an Orlando Lions Den koozie, hit me up. I can get you one. With that being said, though, guys, we got to go ahead and talk about this game real quick. I'm going to go ahead and start us off. The 3-0 thrashing of the Revs, guys. This is 2 3-0 wins in a row, which is nice. Definitely feels good for the goal differential. To start things off, they were kind of coming at us a little bit early. And then set piece magic with something that and we all know, because we've seen highlights, we've seen them try before, we've seen it in practice. They finally pulled it off. They played Rafa Santos at the top of the box, hit a absolute curler into the top of the net. I believe, as Eddie described it on Den After Dark, it was one of the ones that clears the cobwebs out. Hell of a shot. Definitely something that like I said, they've been practicing that for a while. It is great to see it finally come off. Excited for Santos to go ahead and get his goal. It was followed up with Carlos Heel conceding a penalty kick by just being really dumb with his hands. I don't have a better way to describe it. I have no idea why he kind of slapped the ball away from, I believe it was on Facu's knee. He literally just kind of slapped it with his hand right in front of the ref, and then he was complaining, I don't know what you're calling a handball for. But Facu, immaculate form on his pens, as always. Hits it with power, velocity, no keeper stopping it, even though the keeper did go the wrong way. And then return to form in the second half. Nico Ladero with a beautiful, beautiful timed through ball to Duncan McGuire, who it's a striker's goal. You know what to do. Hit it as hard as you can and hit it low, and it snuck under the keeper. 3-0. Simple as that. I'm going to go ahead and start with Eddie on this one. Eddie, my friend, give me your thoughts on the game.
Well, I thought we looked a little rusty to start, a little slow, a little sloppy, right? But then, a lot of times you just need a set piece to unlock the score. Orlando got that out the short corner. I think all corners are generally mostly useless, right? Unless you do in swingers, you're like Arsenal, where they have 6 guys who are 6'2" or something. We don't have anyone who's really good in the air, but we have a lot of technical players. So the short corners, in certain instances, it can work. And this one it did. So I'm not saying you need to do it all the time, but I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad Santos shot. He's been trying that one for a bit. They gave him plenty of space. It was well worked. And it was just a fantastic strike, just a bender, top bins, which that word top bins is now in the Oxford Dictionary. And I took the cobwebs out, picked that up, keeper. It was a fantastic shot. And after that, I think the Revs had to open up a little bit more. And then it played to our strengths, which is playing on the counter. And that's the importance of scoring first for Orlando City. We're better off on the break. We have trouble sometimes breaking down sides that are sitting back. And a set piece is a great way to do that. Is a great way to unlock a team and change the game state from one that's a little bit tough to create chances to one where they're going to play into our strengths. And thankfully that goal allowed for that to happen. After that, I thought, we were creating some really decent chances, some good moments on the break. Enrique Ramiro's impressing me with his hold up play and just the way he's connecting with the rest of them. Ojeda and Angulo overloading on the left with Santos. That's why I like Santos over Kyle. There's nothing wrong with Kyle. It's just Kyle's on the wrong foot. And Santos opens up a lot more of the offense with the ability to play the ball in behind, his range of passing, and just everything that he's contributing. And I thought that was a good example that I don't know Kyle scores that goal in the first place. And then I thought that when we overload on the left, Facu comes in inside, and then you have Dagger on the right who fills in that width, and we create a lot of little kind of triangles, a lot of options to cut it back, etc., and create shots. And the team seems to be more brave about shooting outside the box too, which I'm happy with. And overall, I thought it took us a little bit to get in the game. Then when we got going, we looked pretty dangerous. And I thought the defenders had a good match. I thought Janssen was back to his old self. Great block in the box, read the game well. Rodrigo had some really good moments, a great clearance off of a cross. I thought Wilder was a little bit sloppy compared to other games, but midfield did their job. And then we have some good depth. I mean, Duncan off the bench, Nico off the bench. That is really, really solid to have two players of that quality come off the bench, and they're the ones who came together for that last goal. So, and Facu's penalties, I mean, Ben's did too. He had one miss up, but other than that, they're impossible. Like none of them you see any of his other penalties and think, oh, that could have been saved. The only one that got saved was the one that he didn't really hit well. And actually, he hit it pretty well, just not as high as normal. It was just more the keeper did a good job guessing. And all the other ones are just impossible to stop. So that was great. I was happy. Once we got going, it was an easy, in-control game, I think. They had a couple moments, but nothing really bad except for that Carlos Gil free kick. And Pedro was immense on that one, and he came out on a Boateng chance where he got in through, and I thought Pedro was vintage Pedro too.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with you. Pedro really only had that one big save to make, which was that one free kick that came over, which may or may not have actually been on frame, but for the most part, we really didn't give them a whole lot of opportunities that were clean on net, which was nice. You're absolutely right. The defense for the most part was really kind of just returned to form for the whole back line. Everything looks pretty good. Only thing I'm going to add before I go over to Alex is that I noticed during this game that Bracalo wasn't on the bench. And it looks like he's actually on the injury report today with a thigh injury, and he's going to be out on Wednesday. So just something to monitor is that, David Bracalo, since his international duty, may have picked up something. Maybe he'll be out for a little bit. But I know, Alex, you were watching on the TV along with me for this one because I was not in the stadium. What were your thoughts based off what Eddie said and your thoughts on the game as well?
Honestly, the big one for me is defense looked great. Like, honest to God, you're talking about Bracalo. I didn't even realize Schlegel was on the field. And sometimes that's a good thing. When Schlegel isn't acknowledged, he's doing his job and he's defending. Like, if he's not a problem, if he's not someone we're worried about, it's a good job. Like, that honestly just made me think of that. As far as the goal scoring goes, Facu from the penalty spot is something we rely on. And yeah, it was a dumb foul. Dumb foul, nothing to worry about there. We earned that with the high press that we were playing, but man, that Santos goal. I have literally someone in the fantasy group, or I don't know if it was in our group or someone on Twitter, but a couple years ago, I sent money to someone who had the privilege of painting all the different mantras on the tunnel. And I said, can you please, just in my honor, paint no short corners on the tunnel? And they did it for me. And this kind of made me feel bad because that was a short corner that was a perfect elaborate set piece. Like, no notes. You guys are talking about them practicing this. They nailed it to perfection, and New England fell for it. They looked dumb with that, and Santos took advantage and he buried it. Like, the fact that goal isn't goal of the week for MLS, or at least in the top 2 with the whole messy of it all, it's a complete crime. I won't dwell on that, but Duncan's goal coming off the bench, hasn't scored. I had to look it up. I had to scroll to find his last goal. His last goal for us was his stoppage time goal in our loss to NYCFC in June. It's been a minute for the guy. He's been on international duty. He got a new contract since then. He's still coming off the bench and getting that beautiful pass from Nico. I think it's his starting spot to lose at this point, because green card Enrique is no longer a factor, and that's sad. But like I said on Den After Dark, unless we send Enrique back to the office to get another green card or whatever, he's going to have to come off the bench. And that's not a problem, because even Enrique off the bench is better than Morial. So this was a great match. We took care of family business, made New England look dumb as always. And the factors in the league jumped us from 7th to 5th. And this week's going to be a big one. So
Eddie, I'm going to go to you real quick with another question, just because I think you might have said this online as well. Is that the best goal we've scored so far this season?
I think so. I'm a bit prisoner in the moment at times with these kind of things, right? But yeah, this is like my favorite goal since Wilder in the playoffs. It was like a very similar goal, a little bender in the top. This one is probably up there now that I think of it, with Muriel's goal against Philadelphia with the left foot. I mean, that was insane. That was those two. I can't think of any other one that's better. Oh, Faku's volley was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Faku's might be second.
Yeah. So this one, I just like that it straight came off a short corner, and I like a fullback goal. Like, one thing is like a striker score a banger. Yeah, like it's a striker. And obviously, they did more than one short corner. There was actually tape. They were doing this intentionally. They found something of vulnerability, which is great. And the team looks like well coached, well structured. Like they were pressing at certain moments, counter pressing certain moments. They were laying back at certain moments. It just seems like we're in a good groove right now. And I think the short corner was an example of that. And I'm glad Santos had the confidence, and obviously they set it up that way, where they, you tell someone, hey, we're going to get you a shot at the top. It's just like Mighty Ducks 2, Keenan, a little knuckle puck, give it to him at the top of the key. And he did a little, put some little English on it, and it was perfect. But it was obviously, I think
there was a lot of English on it.
A lot. I don't know why the English got the monopoly on curving stuff, but sure. That was just well put together, and I just like that it was thought out. It was obviously intentional and thought out. It wasn't like, let's do short corner and see what comes up from it. It was, he was in the spot that was obviously there, and they got it to him quickly, and then they gave him a nice ball where just one touch, the guy had like 5 yards of space, one touch, and he had with one touch he had a great chance to put a good strike on it, which he did.
And the short corner was a 1-2. I interrupted you earlier, Eddie. Sorry. Who actually put it to Santos? I don't remember.
It was Angulo who did.
Angulo, yeah. There you go. And that's a real assist.
Yeah. Martin Ojeda, I believe, got the fake one. So. That one actually wouldn't even shouldn't technically even be a fake one, because that wouldn't even constitute as a key pass. So.
Right. That's the most fraudulent of all.
This is gonna go into
tapped at 2 feet.
this is the kind of thing that if you ever needed to like extort information out of Cleon, this conversation we played on a loop to just try and torture him.
Just send it to him
Absolutely.
before you make a key fantasy trade.
Right.
So,
I want to put together. I want to put together all-time list of the all-time assist leaders based off of hockey assists.
Oh God!
And it's gonna be Sasha one.
I was gonna say at least as far as MLS goes, yeah, Sasha's up there for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if it's just for us, but
yeah.
Oh,
I'm sure
God.
not for New York Red Bulls, especially in their heyday. He probably had quite a few.
Oh, he definitely did because that's when he set the league record for assists in a season with like 22 or 23, I think. But like he really only had like 9 or 10 or something like that. A lot of them were secondary assists. It was wild once you actually kind of broke it down. I might be wrong on that a little bit, but
I like MLS quirkiness. I don't care like the whole penalty kicks and running, and I don't care if we call it soccer or whatever. But that is just not necessary. Like that's just unnecessary quirk. Yeah, it's just what's the point of that, right? Like,
got to fluff the numbers, man.
Right, exactly. So you're just trying to make them sound better to sell them, where they inevitably go to like Belgium and then come back in a year or two, or Portugal and they don't actually get paid and come back looking at your Reggie Cannon.
You're just naming off Colorado Rapids right now.
No, wait, no. Mihailovic or whatever his name is, that was different. His mom was sick, so that wasn't that.
No, yeah, he does get a pass, but they also brought back Sam Vines, Cole Bassett, Mihailovic, and now Reggie Cannon. So all of them guys who left MLS that had rough experiences in Europe and came back.
Sorry, Papa Kroenke. That's I only like you on one of your 7 teams. The other teams have caused me misery. The Rams.
I'll give him some credit at least for a moment, because whatever he decided to do as far as who's running the Rapids for him, because we are all pretty certain he forgets that he owns the Rapids sometimes.
Right.
They become a pretty fun and watchable team this year. So
his son is running Arsenal and they've gotten better. So as long as
they go through it every like 5 years or so, where there's like one season where it's like, oh, the Rapids still exist. They're fun.
Right.
That's nice.
Right now, those are the only 2 of his teams that haven't won anything, as of late, when he's been owner.
That's true. All right.
I'm rooting for one of those to win. Obviously, not the Rapids.
Well, while we're talking about things that are on the up, I think it's time to go ahead and talk a little bit of stock up and stock down. Alex, I'm going to go to you first, man. Give me your stock up, stock down this week.
I'm just going to take the obvious one. Santos finally got that crack, finally got that big goal. He looked good on defense. He was pretty quick the whole game. He looked good. No other notes on that. Stock down. And it makes me sad to say this because I had forgotten he got the assist by Angulo. Like, we can only put his stock down so much, but like this match could have been 4 or 5 if he hadn't had a couple of just insanely bad passes into the box, especially in the first, I think, 30 minutes or so. I think at some point we got to make a change there, unless he keeps it up with putting the ball in on the opposite side of the field he's supposed to be on. So Angulo is my stock down, and that's hard because honestly there were only 2 bad players on the field for us, and I'm sure one of you is going to name the other. So
I'm going to reserve myself to be last. So Eddie, I'm going to cut to you now. Your stock up, stock down.
Stock up, guys. Santos, I would say, right? I mean, I've always defended him, been a fan of his. In regards to what he brings, there's obviously some give and take, but sometimes he's a little bit exposed because he's contributing in the attack. So you gotta pay attention to the context of things sometimes. And I think if you do, you appreciate Santos a little more. I thought Janssen, good game. Rodrigo, I said, Pedro. The vets are getting back up to their levels. When Janssen's when he was nearly best 11 defender, where that's bodes well for us, and when Pedro's a top 5 keeper, that bodes well for us very much. So I want to just give them a little shout out. And I guess and Faku's just been so good, man. And Ojeda has just been so good lately. So stock up pretty much everybody. Stock down. I'm just so used to Fangulo that I'm just numb. So I don't know if it's stock down. I thought Wilder was a little bit more careless than normal, but I wouldn't say stock down. I don't really have a stock down, to be honest. I don't. Stock down is. I don't think I got one. I don't think it's anyone's fully deserving of it, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
It's hard
Fair
with
enough.
a 3-0 win.
Yeah.
When it's a 3-0 win, you really are just like kind of being nitpicky with it. It's I don't have anything.
Did work hard, make some good passes, track back. I mean, he contributed too. It's just Angulo's gonna Angulo,
Yeah,
it's like you stock down for him being himself, basically.
Yep. So with that, I'm not going to echo Angulo with you guys. I am going to go ahead and give it to another player. I'm going to give mine to Luis Muriel.
I was going to do that, but I didn't want to pile on. I thought you would.
No. It's just when he subbed on, man, I'm kind of just confused as to what he's doing. Like his set pieces that he's been taking have been pretty not good. There was a point where Sukata was trying to play him in, and he was really slow in getting his run, and Sukata had to hold the ball for a long time. He played him in. It ended up being offsides because he didn't time his run well. But then rather than crossing a ball to, I believe it was Facundo Torres on the opposite side of the field, he just took it to the end line and dribbled it out of bounds when he had a wide open Facu. And it's one of those things where it was either Duncan or Facu. I know that for sure. But yeah, but it's just stuff like that where I'm kind of just looking. I'm like, I don't know if he's got the Y words or if he's just like, it's just not, he's not adjusting well or what it is. But man, it's just it's becoming just troublesome. Like, obviously this guy's getting paid $4 million a year. He's getting a lot of money.
Not to mention getting our highest FIFA or whatever it's called now, EA FC 25 ranking. Like,
that means nothing to me.
That was troll bait online all week. But
yeah. I mean, he also had he was only like one pace point lower than Angulo, which is just kind of comical, if I remember correctly, because I think Muriel had a pace of 85 and Angulo had an 86, and I'm like, watch them run next to each other. But it
means nothing to you, but you still got the stats on your head. You're a true.
Because I remembered it. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like I said, it's just kind of frustrating because we expect so much more. That there's class in the player. That he can play good. It's just become disheartening to see. And then as far as stock up goes, I'm gonna keep it the same position. I'm giving my stock up to Duncan. He's been coming in off the bench. Last game picked up an assist. This game scored a goal. And that this is kind of unless anyone has something to add, it looks like Eddie might. I'm not sure, or he's just toying with this thing. But otherwise, it's going to be a perfect segue into my next bit. Yeah, you're good.
Microphone had.
Trust me, I keep moving this thing every once in a while just because of the fact that I'm like, I got something here, I got to touch it.
That was just for those who are only listen, don't watch.
Exactly. We're just moving our microphones all around because we all decided to upgrade this year and be fancy. But that brings me into my next little segue here is, green card Ramiro's cooled down. Duncan has been consistent off the bench. Luis Muriel's getting paid a lot of money and hopefully he's investing it properly. But I feel like we have a little bit of a striker conundrum here. And I know on our last pod, I kind of brought up the fact that I think after, a couple games in a row of Ramiro kind of cooling off, I felt that it was time that Duncan would get back into the starting lineup against Nashville, and he didn't. Or after the Nashville game, after the Kansas City game, I felt that the Nashville game, Duncan McGuire should have gotten back into the starting lineup, and he didn't, is what I meant to say. Now, against the Revs, same thing, didn't get back into the starting lineup. So I'm kind of curious. I started with Alex last time, so I'm going to go to Eddie over here. Do you think that maybe with some rotation because of the midweek game against Charlotte, do you think that we might see Duncan McGuire starting again some point this week?
I think due to rotation, yes, but I don't think he should be the starter right now. So I think
Okay.
Ramiro almost had a goal. The guy made a great block at the last moment. He great little dribble. He kind of lost it. Couldn't get out of his feet. Made a nice move. Almost got that off. But I just think he's playing well overall. He's dropping in. He wins aerial balls. He's hold up plays good. He combines well. Kind of drops in deep and does a good job. And he's a little bit more pacey. I don't think he's done enough. Like strikers are going to have those streaks where they're going to have, they're going to score 3 or 4 in a row, and then they don't score 3 or 4 in a row. It's just kind of how it goes. Duncan does the same. So I don't think he's done enough to lose his job. And Duncan, I think, look, Duncan's a proper guy. He's not, I'm sure he wants to start, but he's not gonna pout about it. I don't think he's gonna have a good attitude. His work rate's always fantastic, and he just got paid too. So
Got the
you know
raise,
what?
man.
Yeah, got the raise. So they don't, I'm not in the 11, but he's this guy is he got more than 11. It looks like probably like an 11% raise or something like that. 11 times raise, whatever he was making. He was making nothing. So I think he's proven too in the past when he was the backup for Kata and took the job. He's very productive off the bench. Like you said, he got an assist the goal match. He got a goal in this one, and it's nice to have this kind of problem. Muriel shouldn't be. You have to rotate. Like we got to have like 4 games in a week before Muriel starts at this point. That's striker. It's like it's just no
Unfortunately.
way. And speaking of strikers, starting at strikers. Remember Jack Lynn? He was on the team. Remember that guy? That was wild, right? It felt like 2 years ago.
Legend.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, man. You got me laughing over here. But what do you think, Alex?
I won't add a ton to that because honestly, I will add a little. Honestly, I was a little surprised that Duncan didn't start. I thought that Enrique, like, he's looking good. Don't get me wrong, but with the week we have, I thought he was going to start and get at least 45 minutes. When Enrique started, I was a little surprised. That being said, it worked out. We got the goals. We played well. We looked a little slow to begin with, but Duncan, we can't make a decision on Duncan until at least the Dallas game. Because again, we got Charlotte tomorrow or today as you listen, and then Columbus away on Saturday. You can't measure who's going to be the starter until you've had some of that rest and a lot more training. Like, don't get me wrong. I could bet the house on Duncan starting tomorrow just for rotation, if nothing else, especially considering he's the hot hand. But who's going to start in Columbus on Saturday is anybody's guess, because at that point, Duncan will probably have had as many minutes in the last 180 as Enrique. And that's when the dogs go to eat. You got to see who wants it more. Enrique is honestly just in there. He's cooling down a little bit, but he's still playing well. It's not like he's making mistakes. He's just not as hot as he was earlier in the summer. So we can't discount him for falling off of his streak, the fun streak we got to talk about all summer. But it's also fun to have this debate because you got those two up here, and then the guy we're paying the most is way down here below my boom mic in Muriel, and we just can't rely on him. Like, even towards the end of the match against New England, we put both Duncan and Muriel out there, and honestly, it was a 4-4-2, right? Towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There was one better looking player out there than the other, and it was Duncan. Like, whenever Muriel was on the ball, I got nervous. When Duncan was on the ball, and he was on the ball a lot less because he was going for more of those plays where Nico or someone else could deliver the ball to him or be a poacher, and hoping that Moriel could even deliver for him, because it's not 4-4-2, it's like 4-4-1, 4-4-1-1, because Moriel's playing so far behind all the time, and Duncan still looked better. I don't know what to make of Moriel anymore. Like, he's had a couple of moments of brilliance for us, but at this point, the money is, I don't know if the money's worth it. We talked about it a lot on Den After Dark, Mike, about how, do we need to cut him loose? Do we need to use that buyout? And I don't know if it's worth the money at this point to buy him out, but I don't know if it's worth the money for him to stay. He's in a very weird purgatory of wait and see. And I'm getting deja vu to Kara. That's kind of where I'm at with him. And
here's my thing.
Kara was a good player too, and he just didn't work out here. So do we give him a full season, or do we let him go during this next window?
So here's where I'll push back on that, is because Kara at least had statistics. That's the downside to Moriel, is he's got 2 goals and they were both in one game, So and I think he also added a PK later than that. But it's the difference between the two of them, I feel like, is stark, because Kara did score actually a fair decent amount of goals. It's just, I don't think the system really favored the type of striker that he was. Because he was much more just a target man, didn't really create a lot of chances for himself, compared to Duncan, who can make chances for himself and be a target man, and Moriel, who's more the creative type. And, so I feel like they're not like for like players. But I think that Kara did contribute a lot more than people want to give him credit for.
That's fair.
So that's just my take on that. But I think that I do think that Duncan's going to get a start at one point this weekend. I think realistically, he's probably going to start Wednesday against Charlotte, I think is going to be, is my guess. I do think you're right, Eddie, that it's not necessarily time to go ahead and pull the plug on Ramiro as the starter. But I look at the matchup and I look at what we're playing against, and I think those 2 matchups, you're going to benefit more from Duncan going against Charlotte, because he's going to be marked by Tim Ream a lot. Use Duncan's strength to wear out old man Ream, and then bring in Ramiro's speed off the bench to try and beat him later in the game. And then against Columbus, bringing in Duncan late. We know Duncan has magic in his boots late against Columbus. It happened last year. So I think that might be the way to go. But it's realistically, we're talking about good problems to have.
Right.
It's a good problem to have. You want to have 2 strikers who are in relatively good form, to where you can go to either, depending on the situation. You don't. We've been talking a lot about NFL. It's like having a good 2 running back system. Like, I look back to my old Giants, the Thunder and Lightning days of Tiki Barber and Ron Dane.
It's like being great. Texas football right now. Like,
Ahmad Bradshaw and Brandon Jacobs. Like, it was good times.
You got Quinn going out hurt, and oh darn, you have Arch Manning coming in.
Happens to be a stud, just like his uncles. So I tossed another thing in here that I just kind of wanted to talk about real quick before I preview these games, and I just wanted to know your guys' thoughts. We're getting a lot of positive press from the league lately. I think in ESPN power rankings we jumped to 9. MLS power rankings we jumped to 10. Matt Doyle at MLS Soccer has been gushing over the fact that since we made the move to Martin Ojeda as playing the 10, this team's figured out how to actually play soccer productively. And Poppy's finally gotten it right. Sasha Kleston put out an article today where he was talking about the fact of how great a form Facundo Torres is in, and he thinks that we're in pole position to finish the number 4 seed in the East and get that home playoff favorability. Where's this coming from, guys?
I got an answer to that. It's quite a few of them are hedging their bets that they made early in the season, saying we were going to win it all or win Supporter Shield. We're not winning Supporter Shield at this point, but they're hedging their bets, saying, oh, this team's getting hot, which we are. We've been getting hot since before the League's Cup break, but I'm glad they're noticing and hoping that it doesn't jinx us, because the last time they said good things about us, it didn't go well for us in both the Champions Cup and early league play. So
I think Alex is exactly right. They're trying to say, see, I knew it all along. They are good. They just need to do what I said is like Doyle to play Ojeda as a 10 and, stick with that double pivot that we always talk about too. And Oscar does what he normally does. And they'll be fine. I knew they were good. They were a good core. So it doesn't mean they were wrong then. I'm just saying that they're emphasizing it again because they want to be taken seriously. And then, prognostications is part of it. And then, as analysts, so it's definitely a chance to say, hey, I told you so. Here it is. So, and I don't know if we get to the heights that they want, but that's it. I want to make a quick point about Muriel, though, but about productivity, though. So, yeah, I mean, he's playing so little that eventually those 3 goals is going to make his goals per 90 not look too bad. So, going to be the Cowra-esque at the end. He's playing so little.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong about that. You're not wrong about that. But yeah, I kind of look at this season. Obviously, it's a tale of 2 seasons. First 17 games, we had 17 points, so 1 point per game. Now we've 11 more games. The last 11 games, we have 23 points in them. Obviously, over 2 points per game, technically. Tale of 2 seasons, 6 games left, and we just got to keep winning. That's all we got to do. And that includes this Wednesday. So probably when you're listening to this, this is the game that's either tonight or you listened after the episode's already out. So, hopefully what we were about to predict is what actually happened. And then you would know that we are prophets from the future. But it's a playoff 6-pointer on Wednesday. Playoff 6-pointer, guys. That's the reason it is referred to as that is we're close in the standings of Charlotte. We're on 40 points. They're on 38 points. We both need 3 points from this game. So realistically, if we get it, it just puts them further down in the hole. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Alex first. What do you think is going to happen against Charlotte?
I think that this is the game we've been waiting for. I'm a little more scared about Saturday. We'll get to that. I think this is going to be a close one. I think Charlotte still is a good team. They're not in great form right now. They haven't won in their last 5, but I still think they're going to bring it to us. I think we win 2-1, especially at home. There's been a lot of complaints about us not being good at home, but we've shown up lately, and I think we can keep this one close and win it in the second half. I'm going to give the
one in their last 7, technically.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the foot mob of the last 5, so that makes it even worse.
That's why I had to go click into it to see they got 3 draws and three losses and 4 draws in their last 7.
And 3 of those losses have been in their last 5. Good grief. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my prediction 2-1. I think we get one in the second half and get them ahead. I'm gonna give the goals to Duncan as a starter early on in the first half, and then I'm going to give Enrique the goal off the bench in the second half.
I like it. Eddie, what do you got?
I mean, Charlotte, for some reason, we just don't play well against them. What do we have? 1 point in the last 3 or something against them?
Let's look at the heads up.
I feel like it's maybe 2 in the last 3. I know maybe I'm mixing it the Open Cup when they beat us too at that recreational field.
We're 2-2-2 with them. So
right, yeah. So it's been a bit, but it's been a bad kind of run, right? So we're due.
Have been draws. They beat us the late one last year and the early one at home. We haven't beat them since 2022.
See, exactly.
Good grief.
That's a long time. I think they're going to come out and score first. They're going to scare us. We're going to pull it back 2-1. I'm going with Alex to score. Duncan starts, Duncan goal, and then I'm going to give a Facu goal because he's been playing so well. I'm going to give Facu one, but I would like to see Ojeda score because I like him. He hasn't scored in a bit. He's been productive, hasn't been bad, but it'd be nice for him to get a goal. Or Facu to get another one and climb up the charts into legendary status as he continues to be fantastic for us.
Which brings up a question. I'm going to interrupt that just real quick. You might have missed this and you didn't get to chime in. Do you think he's on the Mount Rushmore at this point? Corey brought this up on After Dark.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's he's probably the most productive player we've had. He's not the most skilled, right? I mean, he's not like more skilled than Nani or Kaká, whatever, but he's probably been the most productive. He's lived up to like the cost, and we won our only trophy in part very much thanks to him. So I don't know, given that we've only had one trophy and he was a huge part of it, and he's been he starts out a little slow, but at the end his numbers look very consistent, and we finished our highest ever in our standings with him, and we're locking in the playoffs with him. This is the best run of Orlando City during his tenure, and it's mostly due to him. So I say why not?
Always a good conversation. That was definitely a big contentious. It wasn't. I wouldn't say contentious. It was very spirited, but in a very positive
spirited
way.
And long, and it was a fun conversation.
Yeah, we went off the rails a little bit with people talking about the Mount Rushmores, because basically, Evan had said he's on his way to being the best Orlando City player ever. He thinks he puts him in the conversation.
I totally agree with Evan.
Yeah, and so I kind of just simplified it more to Mount Rushmore, and it's interesting when you talk to people about like what their perceptions of people are, because I think we had one who was saying that he doesn't think he can put him on the Mount Rushmore above Kyle Larin, and he started citing trophies. I'm like, well, if we're going to cite trophies, Kyle Larin won nothing.
Right.
We're going to cite trophies for the whole club as a whole. Yeah. We got to bring like Kevin Molino or whatever into this. Who was it that trolled and said Vinter? Like,
was that Corey? That was Corey.
The one that brings the topic, and also
he did that to make me mad. That's for sure.
Yeah. He probably thought I was listening too. You know how I get with that. But in MLS,
I think how is he one area that I'm worse than you?
Yeah. I think I already got it out of my system. I think I'm just over it. But in MLS wise, forgetting the whole USL time, MLS wise, how is he not in everyone's Mount Rushmore? I didn't hear that part, but like, how is he? Who else is there? Mount Rushmore's 4 people, right?
Kaká, Nani were both consistent. Kyle Larin was debated. Pedro and Janssen were debated.
Mauricio Pereira was the last one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think
I think it depends on who you like and who you care for, but it's definitely around those groups. But okay, Charlotte, my prediction, we have now had 3 straight games where the final score has been 3-0. Let's make it 4. It's going to be 3-0. We're going to win. Obviously one of those 3-0s was a loss. The last 2 have been a win. A third straight 3-0 win, I think, would be a nice feeling, especially over CLT.
Especially at home. Remember how trash we were at home earlier this year?
Exactly. I'd love to see 3 straight games and 9 goals scored at home.
Right. We didn't score for.
Give me the Ojeda Olympico. And it's going to happen. And give me a Facu brace. That's what I'm going to go ahead and take for Charlotte.
Nice. Hey, Alex, how do you feel that there'll be an Olympico will happen before an Orlando City hat trick happens?
Get out of my brain, Eddie. I was just going to ask, why can't we have an Ojeda hat trick with an Olympico? Porque no los dos, please.
Hey, why can't you eat Oreos and have abs?
Fried Oreos. Come on.
Just like Miley Cyrus and Hannah Montana used to sing, it'd be the best of both worlds. So,
wow. Yes.
The deep cut.
Off the rails, we have gone.
All right. So we're in Columbus on Saturday. That's a rough one, guys. Columbus, depending on who you talk to, they're you could argue they're the best team in the league. I think it's fair to say that they're the best coach team in the league. I don't think that either of you are going to argue with me about that. So that leads me to my curiosities. This time I'll start with Eddie because I started with Alex last time. Eddie, what are your thoughts on the away trip to Columbus, and do you think that we can get some points out of
it? We didn't look really good on the road in the last match, right? A little funky there. Columbus is just so good. I'd be thrilled with a point. Thrilled. We don't play them terribly. We have some moments with them, but overall, I think at home they're just so well coached, so talented. And Kucha those kind of strikers give us problems. With the way just the little smaller strikers who drop in, move around in that the front three they have, where they just shift around. I just think they're just going to pull away. And then the thing about them is that when they got a lead, they know how to strangle you and just really, really just kind of put you in the corner, kind of keep that ball, that field tilt, and really, really control the match. So, and that what that's going to do is going to take us away from our strengths, because they're going to keep the ball. They don't really lose it a lot. We do best off of breaks, scoring on, kind of fast breaks, counterattacks. And Columbus doesn't give you a ton of those. Therefore, I think we're going to lose. I'm not going to be too mean. I'm not going to do a 3-0 streak, but I'm going to say 2-0 Columbus on that one. But I'm not going to be too mad because it's Columbus. And we beat Charlotte. That's good. And if we get the 4th seed, we stay away from Columbus as long as possible.
Alex, what are you thinking?
I've been back and forth. I wanted to say tie. I wanted to say 1-1, but I just can't say it. Like, they're still in great form. They're one of the best teams in the league still. They've beaten us the last 2 times 2-0, as Eddie said. I got to say this is one of those losses. I think we're going to lose 2-1. I think Baku is going to get one at some point, but I don't see us pulling this one out. It's just too much. We're both playing on Wednesday. They're on the road, but they're playing Toronto. Like, that's not going to be nearly as much a challenge to them as Charlotte is to us. We're going to have to expend a lot more on Charlotte just to get 3 points. And I don't see us traveling up to Columbus and getting the 3 points.
So I was originally going to be in the same boat as you guys, but all 3 of us can't be purely negative. I'm not going to be purely positive, but I think we're going to eke out a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw. Wow,
it's what we did last time in Columbus.
Yeah, so it's true. That's what got our run going. Remember, that turned their season around last year.
Exactly.
With that.
That's
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I
forgot about that.
We always play really well against a good team on the road, like once or twice a year, right? We always surprise people. Like last year, we're such a good road team. Like, wow, we really, really did well on the road. This could be it. But even with that, like, I'm trying to feel like with Alex doubled down, I feel like maybe that's that game. And then the most positive I can still be is a draw. But 1-1, but 2-2. That's bold, Mike.
2-2. That's what it's going to be. It's what it was last year. It's what it's going to be again. And you know what? I'll take a 4-point week. I will.
That'd be great.
Especially against.
Who's got the goal?
What's that? The goals for me, go ahead and give 1 to Ramiro and 1 to Baku, because he's just going to stay hot and he's not cooling down the rest of the season. He got back into the Uruguay national team. He's proven his worth. He's going to keep doing it. So, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But yeah, 4-point week. This is realistically, guys. This is just a big week in general.
Right.
We've been talking about the fact that we're doing good against the teams that we should beat, but we're struggling against the teams that are in the playoffs. We're playing 2 playoff teams this week. Columbus at home, or Charlotte at home and Columbus on the road. And I think if you could go ahead and get points off of both teams, obviously you want to win the one at home against Charlotte, but if you could pull off a draw against Columbus, I feel a lot better going into the playoffs than I have in the past couple weeks. So it's just something to consider, something that I'm feeling.
Good shout. Rather to be positive, because in the past when we've done this and said, oh, these are the games we need to win, hasn't happened. Right. Why not us? Why can't we have this opportunity to actually prove ourselves?
Right, and we've done it before there in Columbus. It's not outside the realm, and we're in good form. So I dig it.
It's what we got to do. Like I said, we need to start winning games against these better teams to make us feel like we have any confidence going into the playoffs. Because I'm the kind of guy that I still want CONCACAF Champions League spots. That's still what I want the most. And if we want to get a CONCACAF Champions Cup spot, we gotta beat these better teams. We're gonna have to go far into the playoffs to do it. So why not us? Why not now? Keep this good run of form going. And with
we got to go all the way and make Alex get a tattoo.
Alex is in you or Alex is in swag?
Me, I'm on the record for like 3 years saying if we win it all, I'm getting a star.
There you
Never
go.
gotten a tattoo before.
I
Okay.
have plenty. So
You're gonna get it right above the nips, right there too, like on the shirt, right above the badge.
Yep, right above the badge.
Right around the nature's badge. All right, like it.
I was talking about the other badge, but okay.
Yeah.
all right, Alex, go ahead. Got any shout outs this week?
Oh, good grief. Shout out. I'm blanking because I don't want to talk about the Bears. I'm speechless. Come back to me.
Eddie, you got anything?
Yeah, Malau Bakery. The great hospitality to me and to Jake and his sister Lisa, I believe. Sorry if I forgot. We got some. We got a little cornucopia of Puerto Rican food there. Got some rice and beans and some steak and onions. Is what one of the things we do. Cube steak, and then some pork, a little pork chop, little rocongandules, which is a Puerto Rican staple. And then we had these tostones if you like fried plantains, but these are made of breadfruit. Look up breadfruit. This looks like it's got spikes. It's big fruit, and you can make you fry those up because we fry anything. And they liked it, enjoyed it. Little dessert, tres leches, 3 milks, and some little pastry with some guava inside, which they liked so much that they ordered some to go to take them home. I think they had it for breakfast the next day. Yeah, theirs is the best.
Took it to the hotel.
Yeah, they took it to the
There you
hotel.
go.
Yeah. It's a little shout out to Malau Bakery, OBT, Consulate Drive. Check it out. We were out there on OBT. We saw. I told Jake we're gonna go eat at OBT. We might even run into a ref. We'll see what happens.
That was gonna be something I was gonna maybe make a joke about.
Yeah.
Glad
Probably best we don't make that joke.
Yeah.
That's one we keep for the director's cut.
Right. The Snyder cut. 4-hour episodes.
Do you still need a minute, Alex,
podcast.
or not?
I got one.
Go for it.
Didn't get to talk about it too much last week. I'm wearing my cap now because I couldn't find it last week in all my luggage. Shout out to Ireland, like Cliffs of Moher, Dublin, just in general, beautiful country, beautiful place. Those people love sports. Like my taxi drive both to and from the airport, whole time these guys just talking about sports. They love their soccer, they love their American football, they love Gaelic football, which I still have to look up the rules for, and they love their rugby. Like they are sports mad. Just a beautiful country, beautiful city in Dublin, a lot of friendly people. They love Chinese food. They had I forget what it was called. Not a grab bag. Some kind of combination of Irish potatoes and Chinese food. Unbelievably good. Like very good. Guinness Museum and Factory was excellent. Had my Guinness, got my souvenirs, got my cap. Had a really wonderful experience at Trinity College, which they have a library there that's 400 plus years old with this big hall. And I walk in and I'm like, oh, this looks like the library from the Jedi Temple in Star Wars. 2 hours later on the tour bus ride, they're like, and most famous is Trinity College's Long Hall Library, which is most famous for being the design for the Jedi Temple Library in Star Wars. I'm just like, you son of a... Almost had to write a letter. You son of a gun. I was right. And just a lovely time. Hope I can go back soon. Not happy about the result of the game we went to, but never thought I'd be going to an American football game overseas before a soccer match, but it was a lot of fun. Also, I got this cool cap.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to go ahead and we talked about him last week. I'm going to go ahead and shout out Cappies. At our
I knew
boy
you would. I
Adam.
want to leave that for you because you did last week.
And Cappies. We talked about him last week because we had the unfortunate news that they were going to have to be closing. And I just want to shout out how awesome the community around Maitland and Central Florida and Orlando is. You guys showed out so much for them. There was a lot of love. They were able to announce today that they're actually going to be reopening on the 23rd. Because they were able to reach an agreement with the property owners, an extended lease. Hopefully there's going to be some renovations in the future. They're just good people running a good business. And we're just happy to see them continue on. And we know you guys are happy too, because I was on Twitter, man. I saw a bunch of people posting about being in line, posting their food. It's just stuff that it for me, it just warms my heart because I know good people, good friends, all that. So shout out to Adam, shout out to Cappies. Hopefully this helps you pay attention more in Manscaped League One. Because I'm sure Cleon's going to be checking on you to make sure you're setting that lineup. I'm also going to go ahead and shout out Eddie real quick because I saw you dropping players and adjusting your lineup while we're in the middle of recording. I got that notification pop through.
You got it. Yeah. Shoot. My attention span isn't quite there, guys. So shout out to Adderall if you need we need an extra sponsor.
I'm 0-2. I'm fearing relegation, but I'll pull it out.
GG's, Alex. GG's.
GG. Yeah. Hey, I'm praying for the Atlanta kicker to miss a couple field goals, and instead he almost made me lose in my money league too. And yeah, to piggyback a little bit off of the shout out for Cappies, just people show out again when they open. Like, please go give them just as much love that they're coming back. Like, this is awesome news. I had people post in. My sister-in-law is a bartender nearby, and she was down this weekend talking about how sad she was they were closing. And go show them just as much love, guys, because it's a great family business, multiple generations. Shout out to the media, honestly, for shining their lights on this and giving them this love and making this happen. This is an awesome story, and we're happy to have them just be friends of the pod.
Yeah,
Adam's a great guy.
Yeah, no. For a bit, Adam joined us on a podcast that we did a podcast at Cappies a couple years ago. Then he joined the Lions Blog podcast, so he knows his football, knows his food. They're real nice people. I meet the parents some. They're just good people, and yeah, I mean, support local, eat local, because this could happen again. And they're not the only ones who are going through this. A lot of other places, sadly, are going through it, through changes in Orlando, through different agreements and all of that stuff. So if you can, support local over these chains, and good people who have been staples of the city can flourish and continue to just helps make our city have more character when we have these places that people have been going to for a while, like Cappies.
Yeah, like I know we lost. Valkyrie Donuts by UCF is going to be closing soon. That one makes me sad because I used to love going there. Then I think Hammered Lamb's also in trouble. I know Cappies was trying to help them out too.
Yeah,
Hammered Lamb's definitely done some watch party
or something.
Pom Poms I saw too.
Yeah, Pom Poms. Mm-hmm.
It's hard, I think they're closing because they want to try doing something different though. So I don't think it was as sad of a situation, but I also didn't read the article, so I can't comment too much. But yeah, it's, like I said, support local. It's a good shot by Eddie. And I think that's what we're going to go ahead and end it on. We got 2 games this week. Thank you guys for checking out the episode. Reminder, the Charlotte game, even though it's local, it doesn't kick off until 8:15 because it's a Fox broadcast. So we've got that little bit of a slightly later kickoff time, which means Den After Dark's probably going to be a little bit later. If one of you guys is going to be able to host it, hopefully, because I don't know that I'm going to be able to. We'll talk about that in the group chat, though. We'll figure it out. And then, obviously, be back on Saturday, post-game, away game. So Den After Dark will be immediately after the final whistle against Columbus. But let's get some points. Let's keep this train rolling. Let's keep climbing up the table. It's always Vamos Orlando. And thank you guys for checking out the Lions Den. Vamos.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Orlando Lions Den podcast. Don't forget to follow us at Orlando Lions Den on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. See you next week. in the Den.